I'm the Jolly Saver, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build a mortgage overpayment calculator in Excel. I find building things in Excel really fun, and if you've seen my other videos you'll know that I'm on a mortgage overpayment journey, and the benefits of looking at the mortgage overpayment calculator is that you can see, if you were to continue to make overpayments, how much interest you could potentially save by overpaying and how many years you could potentially knock off your mortgage. There are calculators that do this for you online, so you put in your mortgage rate, how many years you've got left of your mortgage and the amount you're intending to overpay, and it'll spit out the amount of interest that you'd save and the number of years you'd knock off your mortgage. So I've used them in the past. I like building my own version in Excel just because it means that you can run different scenarios and save them, and you can make the spreadsheet look how you want, and then you can look at different statistics from your spreadsheet as well. I thought I'd share with you how you might go about building one of these spreadsheets if you're interested yourself. Some others might just want to watch this video just out of interest, just to see how the calculation works. So what I've done to try and make things a bit simpler, I've chosen a scenario where we've got an outstanding mortgage balance, which is an easy to understand number. So I've got £200,000, and I looked at a high street lender online to see how much the monthly mortgage payments would be and what the interest rate would be currently if I tried to get a £200,000 mortgage. So currently the figures that came out of the high street lender was that the monthly repayments for a 25-year mortgage would be £1,335 and the interest rate would be 6.38%. This video is all about just how the calculator works and how to build a calculator. The figures that I'm using are just for illustrative purposes only, but there might be something in the summaries what we'll come on to that you'll find interesting to see how the calculator works. So what do we need for a calculator? Well, the first thing you need is your inputs. So we've got our monthly repayment. So as I said, that's £1,335. The interest rate that the bank is charging you. So if you don't know how interest rates with mortgages work, the interest rate is applied to the outstanding balance, and that is how much interest you have to pay the bank. So for example, if you had a £100,000 mortgage and the interest rate was 6.38%, you would have to pay the bank £6,380 for that year's worth of interest. Now that's a very simplified way of calculating the interest. The bank may calculate interest on a yearly rate, a monthly rate, a daily rate. So if they calculate the interest on a daily rate, what that means is as your mortgage balance comes down when you make your standard repayments, the interest that you pay would reduce as well. For the purposes of this video, to try and not get it too complicated, I'm going to assume that the interest is calculated at a monthly rate. So each month your balance is multiplied by the interest rate and divided by 12, but we'll come on to that calculation a little bit later. And just to flag, while I remember to say this, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment purposes only. So if you're watching this video with a view of getting some financial advice on whether to overpay a mortgage or not, this isn't the place for it. I would recommend that you seek your own financial advice if you're making any decisions like that. What I'm doing here is just building the overpayment calculator in Excel that I use. It'll hopefully give some rough figures that might help me make some of my personal choices in the future, but as I said, I'm not a financial advisor. Here we've got the current month and the end month of the mortgage and the length of time in years remaining. So how you work that out here is you do the day. There's a days function in Excel, so you do days, end date and start date, and that'll give you the number of days between your end date and your start date, and divided by 365, and that gives you the number of years. So here we've got 25 years there. and then regular overpayment. This would be your monthly overpayment that you intended to make. I've left this as 0 for now, but because this is one of our inputs, we'll change that going forward in our scenarios. And what I like to do when I've got a spreadsheet like this is I like to make it look quite nice. So I'm going to put everything as blank, and then I will create some borders around this. And then what I'm going to do is just give that some color. Okay. And then, even though it's important to put in the pence on that, I don't really want to see it, so I'm going to leave it like that. And then length remaining, I'll just put in years there. So then what we want to do is we want to create some outputs. So the intention of this will be we would change these cells but not change these cells. And what this output table will be, it'll be giving us a monthly breakdown of our mortgage each month, and we'll see how our mortgage reduces. So it's probably easier if I put the field headings down, and then you can see what we're trying to work out. So we've got the month is column 1. We will have balance at start of month, repayment, interest, balance, overpayment, balance at end of month. Okay, so I'm actually good. As I said, this is going to be, I'm doing it live, so I'm going to go as quickly as I can, but try not to make mistakes. So, all borders. So month, we're going to get our start month, and then we're going to fix this. So November 23 here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have the months all going from here to cells below. So this one we wanted to say December 23. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a function called edate. So the start date, which is November 23, and then month, so we'll want to add 1 month. That'll give us December 23. And then if we want to carry this all the way down, but what we want to do is we want to make it stop when it's October 48, because our mortgage isn't going to go past that date. So we can say if, and I will say this, I'm getting quite geeky in this video, so it's going to have if statements, it's going to have all these Excel functions that you can use. I'm going to assume that you might have knowledge of them, or if you don't have knowledge, then you're just interested to see how they work. But if you've got any questions about any of these functions, then drop them in the comments box down below, and I can try and explain. So I've got an if statement. I'm going to say if this, so the one below, if that is greater than this, then we're going to stop, and we're just going to leave it blank. Otherwise, do that. And then hopefully I'll carry this down and it'll just go as far as October 23. Ooh, something's went wrong. And that's because you have to fix this date here. So bring this all the way down. So you can see we're at November 32 here. Continue this on. 45, and then hopefully once we get to 48, yeah, it stops. Yeah. Okay, so, but I really want it to stop here. So what I'll do, okay, I'm going to try not be a perfectionist. I'm going to just leave that there. But the important thing is that we're not going to have it roll on further. like by 2049 and so on. So that is fine. So balance at start of month, that is 200,000. I'm going to fix that because it's our initial opening balance. Repayment 1335, I'll fix that. Interest, so this is where I'm actually going to do a calculation, and you can see the calculation popping up in this formula bar here. So we're going to have the balance at the start of the month multiplied my interest rate, and I've fixed that because I always want that cell to be referenced. And then I am going to divide that by 12, because what this will do is it'll assume what the interest rate is over the year. So 200,000 times 6.3%, but then we have to divide it by 12 because we're looking for the monthly interest, so what would be accrued in that month. As I said, for simplicity, I'm assuming that the interest rate is applied monthly. My mortgage, for example, has daily interest applied, so it wouldn't give you the exact same result as here, but I think for what I'm trying to achieve in this video and with the mortgage overpayment calculator, assuming monthly isn't going to change things too drastically. So so what is that showing? So that's saying that this is astonishing. If this must be, I'm going to assume that this is true, but I'm just going to pause here and think, wow, this is astonishing. That is this right? If you've got a monthly repayment of £1,335, because a 6.38% interest rate would mean £1,000 of that is pure interest. I'm assuming that's right. I think it is, but that's unbelievable because that's just massive. But anyways, I'm not going to waffle on and talk about how astonishing that figure is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my overpayment and I'm going to check that is actually what I'm going to do is, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute, I'm going to say without overpayment. So the purpose of this is I'm wanting to compare what my values would be if I made an overpayment and what my values would be if I didn't make an overpayment. So I'm doing the without overpayment values first. I'm going to have that as being equal to 0. Oops. Format cells, currency, and then the balance at the end of the month. So this is balance at the start of the month. You take off your repayment because that's coming off the balance. You add on the interest and then you take off your overpayment. Okay, so in month 1, if I had this hypothetical mortgage, my balance, once I've incorporated my repayment and my interest, would be £199,728. So I would have knocked off, and this is where I'm trying to do maths on the spot, £272 off the mortgage balance. So the great thing about Excel is you don't have to continue to do this row by row. You can carry formulas down. So in December 23, the balance at the start of the month would be the balance at the end of the previous month. The repayment, that's going to be identical to this one. The interest, I want to use the same formula again. The overpayment, again, I want that the same. And then the balance at the end of the month, I want to use the same formula. And then what you can do is carry this down the full way. And what I should find, if my calculations work out, is that by October 2048, the balance should be 0. So let's carry this down and see if this has worked out correctly. No, it hasn't. So what's went wrong? And I think what's went wrong is when I've carried down the overpayment, it's carried it all down like that. There, that's right. So just a word of caution, if you're going to follow along and do this spreadsheet, sometimes if you put 0 here and then carry the cells down, Excel will try and be clever and assume that what you mean to do is sort of add on 1 to each one. So what it was doing previously was that it was assuming that each month I was overpaying by 0, then 1, then 2, so that by 25 years later it's a regular overpayment of £300. But that's not actually what I was intending to do. So I've just carried on that value itself of 0 all the way down. And you can see here, and it's going to be as exact as I want it. So it's got £3 at the end of October 48. I'll take that. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove this line here because my formula didn't work exactly as I wanted. And then I'm going to make this look nice and neat. So what I'm going to do is do outside borders here, 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 and outside borders here. Right, and then I'm going to colour this in. So what I like to do is I like to do the headings a dark colour, and and these ones a bit of a lighter colour. Okay, so I'll save that. And so you can see here that without the overpayment, this is what the figures look like. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to go along to the next side. Oh, I have to copy it again because that went wrong. Going to go up and then move across to the side. And then I'm going to say this is called with overpayment. Okay, so this is exactly the same figures, exactly the same formula. So if I scroll down at October 48, you can see it's 3. But what we can do here is we can have the overpayment cell equal this cell, and I'm just going to fix that. And then I'm going to bring that all the way down. And I'm going to do that so it looks nice. Interest, payment, balance at end of month. Okay, and I'm going to just colour this something a bit different just so I can tell the difference. So okay, so I've got my two scenarios. I've got my without overpayment and my with overpayment. But you might notice that the with overpayment at the moment is exactly the same because I've set an overpayment to 0. But what happens if we change this? So let me say a regular overpayment of £100. So what that's done is it's put £100 in this column here. And if I scroll all the way down, what you hope you should find is that before 2048, we've got some the balance is less than 0. What I'm going to do is say I don't really want these red ones to all come up because when I do my final calculations, it'll muck things up a little bit. So what I'm going to say is if I go back to the start, I'm going to put an if condition in the formula. So I'm going to say if this balance is less than or equal to 0, then I just want it to be blank. Otherwise that, and I'm just going to copy that if, and I'm going to put that at the start of each row here. You've got 82 million arguments. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Oh. Okay, and then I'll carry that down. Hopefully that works. Oh, I haven't fixed something. Let's have a look. So it's all going well until we get here. Ah, I see. I see what's happened because I've got it blank there. Okay, I'm gonna stop my perfectionism. I'm gonna just change that. So I'm gonna change it so this is 0. That is 0. That is 0. That is 0. And that is 0. Right, now hopefully this all works. Okay, yeah, so I can see that. So, right. So we've done well. We've got a with overpayment table and a without overpayment table. So you can see visually the impact. As you scroll down, you can eyeball the data and see the impact that overpaying by £100 a month is. But what you'll notice is if you use one of these calculators, it'll give you some summary statistics on it. So what I'm going to do at the top of the spreadsheet here is give some summary statistics. There's one bit of it which I haven't worked out yet in my head on the fly, but we'll get there. So what I'm going to say is there's two scenarios. So with, actually you can start with summary statistics. Oops, spell that wrong. Summary statistics. Okay, and then I'm going to say with overpayment and then okay, so these are my summary statistics. I'm going to say what is the total interest that's been accrued. So without overpaying, my interest over my mortgage is the sum of this column here. So be prepared for an absolute massive amount. So the interest, is this right? Have I done this right? Because that seems ginormous, that the interest accrued over the lifetime of the mortgage will be £200,685. I'm going to go with that. From an online calculator I did online, the savings from £100 overpaying a month should reduce the total interest by, I think it's £35,000. So we'll see if I get anywhere close to that. So with overpaying, I sum this column here, and then the difference is this minus this, 35,000. Yep, good stuff. I've got the right answer, which it's just astonishing to see that that is, if interest rate, I mean, I know interest rates may come down, but at the current levels, if that was to stick at 6.38% on a £200,000 mortgage, you would be accruing, or you'd be paying interest on for £200,000 over the lifetime of your 25-year mortgage. Unbelievable. Anyways, what we'll do is end date is this, and then I'm wondering, what what I'll do for this is, what we wanted to do is I wanted to bring out Jan 45 automatically here. So what I'm going to change this spreadsheet to, I'm going to add another if statement. So let's just think about this. So at the moment I'm saying if that is greater than that blank, but I also want to do I'm going to say if this is less than or equal to 0, then otherwise do that. Okay, fingers crossed. I'll bring this down and it'll all work. Okay, yeah, so you can see that it's finishing Jan 45, and then hopefully the way that Excel dates work is that the actual raw value of this is less than the raw value of this. So if I use the max function and do max Jan 45, brilliant, and then I can do days here, days, that one, oh, that one, and then divide that by 365. Oh, I did it by 265. So this will tell me the number of years that we save, and I just have to change the format of that so it is a number. So it's coming out at 3.8 years that you've saved. So you, sorry, I've reframed that. It's saying that you're mortgage free 3.8 years sooner by overpaying than if you didn't overpay. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make this look nicer. So what color do we want to go for? And then I'm going to make this a bit bigger because it's the important bit, isn't it? Okay, so we've got our calculator all set up there now. I'm going to save that. And the beauty of this calculator is what you can do. These are our statistics. So at the moment we're saying if we're overpaid by £100, without overpaying, it would be £200,000 in interest. With overpaying, it would be £165,000 in interest. The difference would be £35,000. So that would be the extra money in your pocket potentially by overpaying, because you're not paying that money in interest, and then mortgage free 3.8 years sooner. What you can do is you can change this overpayment to say £200. What would that do? Well, £200 would be £60,000 in interest you're benefiting in 6.5 years. And then, you know, you might want to put in some crazy figure like £1,000. If you're anything like me, that's the scenarios I run, like a ideal scenario. And yeah, for that one, for example, you'd be saving £133,000 potentially in interest, and you'd be mortgage free 16 years sooner. So what you can also do is you can change these scenarios so that they fit your profile. So for example, I'll put mine in here and it'll probably break the spreadsheet, but I pay £509 standard payment at the moment. My interest rate is 1.16%. 111.9 £6 sorry, I'm going to say it's 111,000 because I can't remember off the top of my head the specific figures. And then I have 20, I think I'm due to finish in March 2047. Okay, so because I'm on a much lower interest rate, you can see the impact of me overpaying the mortgage would be that if I overpaid by £100 per month, it would knock 7 years off the mortgage, but only £1,812 I'd save in interest payments. Now, if I was to do £1,000 a month, I'd be mortgage free by 2030, which would be amazing, and I'd save £9,000 in interest. Obviously, I'm on a 1.16% fixed rate, which is going to come to an end soon, and I don't think I'm going to achieve a mortgage rate that's half as good as that or in the future, because I think, I don't think they're going to get as low as that again. That's just a personal opinion. Anyways, I'm hoping I've demonstrated to you that it's possible to build your own spreadsheet in Excel that shows your the mortgage rate. Sorry, you can tell I've been doing this video for 20 minutes because I'm starting to waffle now. I'm hoping that I've shown how to build a mortgage overpayment calculator in Excel. This is something I do all the time. I'll be able to save the spreadsheet and run my own numbers through it and then save the scenario, so save these tables. Yeah, if anyone's interested, there's any questions about how this works, do let us know. If you've built a similar spreadsheet yourself, then let us know. And yeah, just have a chat in the comments below if there's anything you're interested in on this. And I'll be making more videos, hopefully quite regularly, just on my mortgage overpayment journey and my overall personal finance journey. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.